You know what time it is. This is the time. This is the time. Man. Just another crazy day in the market. What can we say, man? We've been here giving levels, giving support, giving feedback on this stock market. It's just wild. It's just wild. Just wild. Man. Got a special show for everybody tonight. Let's just see if we could do a couple things here. Man. This is what it is. About to get this show started. All right, we're here. Man, no music. Everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am your host, Charles Becco, y'all. And we got a very special show here for everyone today. We're going to be talking about whether the stock market is going to crash or not. I mean, is it done or not, right? I think I may be on my own today, but have no fear. You know, all of my faculties are here. All right, let me get a link up for you ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm going to post up a link to the stream up in the room, so you guys can see what's up. Pin the link. There we go. There we go. All right. Again, everyone, I'm your host, Charles Becco. Former financial advisor, MBA grad, yada, yada, yada. And today we are going to be talking about whether it seems like the stock market will be crashing or not, right? I'm just letting you know it doesn't look very good, right? I mean, if we were to get like a short-term like bump, right, it would have something to do with if maybe, perhaps, potentially, right, if this war in Ukraine could be, mitigated, right? But I mean, even if the war in Ukraine were to end tonight, that would not necessarily, wouldn't necessarily stop some of the bad stuff that's kind of happening in the market, right? And so perhaps, again, we've been talking about this for a couple weeks. Okay, we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks, actually. I see Tim Poland said the WEAT play did him good last week. Well, Tim, I know that WEAT play is doing you good right now, right? It's pretty much limit up every day with the WEAT play, WEAT. I'm sure Tim is referencing the 5 stocks that we felt were going to be good in case that there was not in case, right? But these were the 5 stocks that were going to be good with the war in Ukraine, right? And so WEAT being one of them, USO being another, GLD being another, right? And so Tim, I'm glad that WEAT play is doing well for you. Glad it's doing well for you, right? All right. So all right. So I think we got everything together. We are going now to the main screen, and here we are. Again, team, I want to thank everybody for being here today. Again, we switched up the club, starting here with the Brooklyn Traders Club. Here on Clubhouse. Again, if you find that there'll be folks out there that'll benefit from this information, do not hesitate for tapping them up in here so that they could have, again, access to the information, right? Okay, very good. All right, so I mean, that team, what can I say? what can I say, right? It's 6 o'clock. Let's just take a quick look at the futures, right? I expect this futures to be down, right? Let's see, /NQ for the futures, and we're down. We're pretty flat. Okay, we're pretty flat. I'm looking for us to come down here and kind of touch and kiss the low level there at 13,000. This is also the bottom of the range, right? But the question is, you know, what are we going to do? Are we going to crash? Are we going to not? I feel like we need to kind of get down here to 13,000, and we'll see. We'll see, right? As of right now, the RSI is not as cold as we were before, right? So if we get down here to the to NQQ 13,000 and the RSI kind of stays there momentarily, that is temporary bullish divergence, right? And so that doesn't necessarily mean we are out of the woodwork yet, but what it does mean is that maybe you know, maybe the market wants to let up just a bit. A lot of people will be looking for that double bottom pattern, right? And so that is on the NQ. Again, let me look to the QQQ because that's what we typically trade in, right? Again, we are at 324.86 on the Qs. And the low there was at 318, right? And so again, if we could kind of get down here to around 318 or so, and if we could kind of hold while keeping RSI relatively warmer or stronger than it was before, then that would be good news for the QQQ, right? But again, the problem here, again, team, is on the longer term time frame, right? Today we are breaking under the 89 weekly support level, right? So this is the 89. I believe that's the simple moving average. Yep, the 89 simple moving average, right? And so again, let me just review the targets to the downside on the Qs, right? We're talking about 320. We're almost back to 320 again. 300 and 275. 275 will sit as comfortably on the 34 simple moving average on the monthly time frame, right? And so these are some levels that you could look to find some possible support. Now, I do want to pivot to Tesla here, right? Because Tesla, looking at this weekly chart here, Tesla is actually, let me see here, I believe this is supposed to be the 50, right? No, that's the 55. So I think Tesla, let me just change this to the 55 there, right? Using Thinkorswim, in case anybody is wondering, Tesla is sitting just under its 50-day simple moving average, which is not good, right? Because we came down here, we came down to 733, had a Superman bounce up to the 21, and team, this just does not look good, right? I mean, you had the 8 here crossing under the 21, the 8 is crossing under the 34 now, and if you go look at price here, right? Once price fell under the 8, right, it's just been staying under the 8, right? So that's going to squeeze us back down. I'm thinking if we lose this 55, we're going to go right down to the 89 on the weekly time frame on Tesla, which will bring us back to 750, 700, and possibly 690 on Tesla, okay? So that's Tesla. Let's look at Microsoft here. Whew! Right? Again, just it's getting bloody here, right? For a while, that 290 was a nice support level. We lost it. We're down to the 16018, and I'm thinking we're going to go down to the 100, possibly 250 on Microsoft here to the downside. Again, let's just go to the fangs, right? We already know Netflix looks like hell, right? Okay, that's Netflix. We already knew that. Facebook, we already know what Facebook... Oh, wow. Facebook, again, team. We talked about Facebook, right? Whether these are dip buy levels, and I've said during the public talk calls and also the private calls that we have via our private Discord and private Zooms here at Brooklyn Traders that Facebook looks like, I like it at a valuation point of view, but again, here's the problem, right? It could go down lower, right? I wouldn't be surprised to see Facebook back down to the 150 area, right? So if you ever looked at these green lines, right, on my chart, and you were like, Charles, What the heck are these green lines in your chart? Well, here they are. You know what these green lines are? These were once open gaps. Open gaps that are currently being filled. And as these open gaps are filled, I'm changing the colors of these lines, right? These gaps are being filled, right? And team, we got pandemic gaps down there, right? They say most gaps are filled, right? Now, I will tell you, right? Assuming we get back down to pandemic levels, right? It would be very nice, if at least on Facebook, right, that we don't hit the absolute lows here at 137. If we could just simply make a higher low, right? Again, not back down to 137, but if we could hold possibly at 150, possibly at 145, possibly at 177, wherever, anywhere that is higher than 137, that will be a good sign. If we break below that 137 on Facebook, the likelihood that we are actually crashing is much, much higher. Okay. Again, like a Tesla, right? Now you understand what these green lines are on the chart. Look at Tesla, right? You see all these lines down here? You see all these open gaps? These are all gaps, team. Okay. Somebody see my chart and they said, Charles, how did you get all these gaps in the chart? What program did you use? Easy. I used my mental gymnastics. I used my brain. I looked at the chart all day, all night. And I charted these levels, right? So team, it's possible for Tesla to be 300 again. Don't think it can't happen. Remember, you heard it here first at Brooklyn Traders, all right? A quick reset before we go any further, all right? Just give me a second while I do my own dang reset, because I'm nice like that. Team, I want to thank everybody for being here today. My name is Charles Becco, former financial advisor, MBA grad, and CEO and founder of Brooklyn Traders, a humble trading group based out of, well, not based out of anymore, but established in East New York, okay, but to the world. Brooklyn Traders to the world. And tonight we are going to be asking the question, are we in a crash or nah? And it depends. It depends, right? I'm letting you know something, okay? Let me get back to the meeting here. Okay. Bam. All right. It depends, right? So here are some tickers that are actually keeping the market together, right? So believe it or not, even though Tesla's bebopping and gyrating, it's well off of its highs, but it's still high enough where it's not back to its lows, right? So Tesla is helping out the effort to keep the market together. Again, we already know who's the next guy going to be, right? It's going to be Apple, okay? I'm telling you, team, Apple. Thank your lucky stars or whatever that you believe in for Apple, because it's one of those tickers that is keeping this entire market together, okay? And anytime Apple wants to sit down and give it the ghost, we are in trouble with a capital T, right? But again, you look on this weekly time frame, it doesn't look good. We've got a MACD cross that is expanding to the downside. You look at the monthly chart, right? And the monthly chart is just getting worse every single time that we look at it. You look at this monthly chart, okay? Team, I'm letting y'all know something. We are dangerously close, okay? We're already in a short setup for lots of the names in the queues. We are already in a short setup on the monthly time frame for many of these Q names. Apple is one of the few, right? That is, again, it wasn't in the danger zone. Let me tell y'all something. By the end of March, if we are below 154 on Apple, the likelihood that we could potentially crash will increase exponentially. Okay. Let me chart that level right there. Again, the level is 154 for March. Okay. There we are. Okay. But right now, again, that monthly MACD looks like it's getting ready to turn over, right? And again, if you think about it, right, what is going to save this market? Okay. The Fed said that they're going to reduce their balance sheet. We can't get help from the Fed. Inflation is getting out of control, right? So they're going to have to hike interest rates. Now we've got this, war between Russia and Ukraine, right? Instigated by Russia. Again, not to trivialize it, right? I don't want to say thoughts and prayers. I want y'all to actually pray for the Ukrainians over there. And, also, say a prayer for the people in Russia who actually don't want to actually have a battle, And shouts out to all those Russians out there that are actually protesting against their own government and their own people, so that we could have some peace out there, okay? Again, just pray for peace. Say a kind word to somebody. Do not underestimate the effect that you could just have on just one person, right? Be kind to everyone you meet, and just try to do your best that you could do in your place in the world, all right? Back to the charts. Again, Apple keeping us together, okay? But it's not looking very good. Not looking good, okay? Again, 154, 150 are areas we're going to have to watch very closely on Apple here. Let's look in the daily here. Apple doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. Does not look good. There's a support level here at around 158. We lose that, and it's a long trip down. Amazon down 5.5% today, back to the February lows, right? And Amazon's been kind of doggish for a while, right? But yeah, Amazon here, man, Amazon looks like it wants to go to its weekly 200 at 2,400, and we also have a weekly squeeze. My goodness, did not notice this before. We have a weekly squeeze to the downside on Amazon. Let's get some targets up. What are the targets? What are the targets going to be? What are the targets? What are the targets? We had not realized this last week, but now we have some targets, okay? Mid compression and low compression squeeze. $700. Oof. $2,100 target on Amazon to the downside, okay? Mark your calendars, right? March 7th, 2022, Charles Becco, Brooklyn Trade, is calling for us to potentially get right back down here, right close to the pandemic low. Well, not really the pandemic lows, right? But kind of around the pandemic level, right? Because it wasn't really low at the time. The low was really 1,600. But yeah, we're looking to test this 2,500. We should get an obligatory bounce at 2,500, but team, I'm letting y'all know right now. We see 2,100 here, and there's a nice juicy gap there at 2,174 on Amazon, okay? 2,174 on Amazon, right? So, oof, this is just not looking good here. Let's look in GOOG, okay? Recently made highs here. We are also squeezing to the downside. We have a mid-compression squeeze fired off last week. That's good for $150. And I think we got that already, right? Shoot, look. Let me see here. We it squeezed off last week, and we got our $150 today, right? Shoot, okay. The low compression squeeze should take us, if it fires short on the weekly time frame, to 2,400 on GOOG. 2,400 on GOOG. Let's look at the monthly time frame again. Oof. Yeah, we're going to be in a monthly short setup pretty soon here on GOOG. Again, another one that was kind of keeping the market together, right? So look at how we behave around 2,500 on GOOG here. Setting up some levels here for you, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. I would say 2,500, right? If we get under 2,500 on GOOG, it could really not go well. Leslie C is asking, is a market crash the same as a bear market, right? So, yes, I would say so. Unless we had a V-shaped recovery like we had during COVID, a market crash would kind of signal and usher in a bear market, right? The crash of 2020, Okay, the crash of 2020 was more of a it's crazy. We crashed and then we bounced to all-time highs, which never happens. But that was a specific situation, you know, that again, you know, due to different market forces, right? Retail traders using their stimmy checks. There was the Fed just pumping just as much liquidity into the market as possible. Also, the Trump tax cuts. Okay, you had corporations who saved a bundle on their taxes that were buying back their shares. So there was a lot of factors that kind of that added to that kind of bounce and recovery. But you know, usually when you get a short setup on a long-term time frame, if it loses gas the first time, the second time around when it comes around, it is usually some trouble, right? And so, yeah, so Leslie C, hopefully that answers your question. Team, don't forget to follow us at Brooklyn Traders. We have a YouTube page, right, at Brooklyn Traders, Instagram at Brooklyn Traders, also Facebook at Brooklyn Traders, also Twitter. We're not very active on Twitter. We haven't posted anything yet to Instagram, but we do have plans for that. But again, follow us on all platforms. Again, if you like the content that we have here, do not forget, okay? Do not forget to also think about donating, right? Maybe you don't want to become a Brooklyn Trader, but maybe you just want to support the stream, right? If you'd like to support the stream, there are links in the description on the YouTube page for that, all right? Okay, back to the program. All right, so that's Google. So we did Google, Amazon, Netflix, Apple. We did Tesla. We looked at Microsoft. Let's look at NVIDIA. So here's some funny things here on NVIDIA. So even though NVIDIA technically isn't a FANG yet, but it's very close. You see here we have this monthly MACD. Looks like it's going to cross here on NVIDIA. I want to look at the weekly time frame. Man. Again, we kind of went through the 50 here, moving down to the weekly 89 potentially, right? Expect a test of 200. Expect a test on 200 on NVIDIA, okay? Again, expect a test of 200 on NVIDIA, okay? So, yeah. So, one thing I do want to mention about NVIDIA, though, I saw some call options come in on the option flow, right? Did see some call options on the option flow. Okay, we're looking at NVIDIA here. Again, looks bearish. Look for a test of 200 on NVIDIA. The question is, what's happening with AMD? So, Leslie, asking about AMD. Just to let you know, right? Typically, AMD, NVIDIA, these names are very, very sensitive to what's happening in the queues, right? And so, typically, if the queues are going to get messed up, you actually see the move first in AMD or NVIDIA. There were times where, especially AMD, where AMD was either flat or kind of positive, right? I have been seeing it. It's been very resilient, right? During these time frames, lately, it's been very resilient. Where maybe the market is down like 1.25%, and then AMD would be flat or slightly positive, right? So for me, a good proxy for the QQQ is actually AMD, right? If AMD is doing poorly that day, chances are the QQQ is getting clapped. Most of the tickers in the stock market follows either the QQQ or the SPY, right? So team, just get a feeling for the indexes, right? Try to figure out where the indexes are going, right? Because if the index is going in one direction, then the rest of the stocks are sure to go in that direction, right? So, SPY here. SPY doing a little better than the Qs, but, that's like comparing car accidents, right? It's like, okay, one car accident is relatively better, but your car is still totaled, right? Nothing really to look at there on SPY. Again, want to focus on the Qs. Actually, let's change directions. Let's talk about things that are working right? So let me give me 1 second here. Let me pull up. I would like to actually pull up a video, right? And if I could pull up this video, okay. I I want to show you guys. And it didn't really have a lot of views.
Before we begin our video, just a quick PSA.
Everybody's attention to this.
All right, team. This is Charles Becco from Brooklyn Traders, and today we will be talking about 5 stocks that will benefit from the Russian conflict, and I cannot wait to talk to you about this.
That is my voice.
Here we have Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin specializes in aircraft, integrated air and missile defense systems, strike weapons, tactical missiles, future combat systems.
This is actually a video that we did last week, okay? And so let me see if I could you know what, just go on to Zoom, okay? I'll provide a link to the description for people on Clubhouse, right? But here we pulled up a video, 5 stocks that will benefit from Russia's war with Ukraine, right? So we go through a couple of tickers. Here's a disclaimer, of course. We're not advocating for any kind of collapse or conflict, or, you know, that causes volatility. We don't want, you know, anything bad to happen, right? But, you know, as people who have money in the market, we have to do what's in the best interest for our portfolio, and we have to do what's in the best interest ultimately for our families, right? So we kind of have to talk about this, okay? But again, we do want to put out the disclaimer out there. Again, we absolutely do not want anybody to be hurt or anything like that. And we do want this conflict to be resolved amicably, right? Because guess what, team? If this conflict is resolved amicably, or if there's some halt in hostilities at least, there's 2 things that could happen, right? We could stop the bleeding, right? And then we could possibly get a little bounce. Even if it's just, you know, a kind of a faux bounce, it's not really going anywhere. At least it's an opportunity, right? At least it's an opportunity to, you know, maybe, you know, make some plays to the upside, right? All right, so I just want to put this up here. Okay, one thing that we talked about, right, as a play that we could look at is LMT, right? LMT. Okay, we talked about it, okay? LMT was one of the 5 stocks that we were talking about that will benefit from the war in Ukraine, okay? As you can see, this is like a long cup and handle, nice breakout to the upside. We hit 479 on LMT today, right? So that was pretty good. The next ticker on this list, okay, I'm going to go here is RTX. RTX didn't do as well. RTX is Raytheon. They, you know, make missile systems, missile defense systems. And again, just something that will benefit from this conflict, okay? So that's Raytheon there. Next up is GLD. We made this video. GLD was at 179. Team, GLD hit 186 today, okay? GLD hit 186 today, right? So right now we're 2 for 1 with some of our picks here. WEAT, I think, hit a high of like $12 when we made this video. Is at $9.50, right? So WEAT is going off, right? Why is wheat going off? Because actually Russia and Ukraine are some of the biggest exporters of wheat in the world. And so if these guys are fighting, if these guys are slapboxing, you know, there's going to be, a higher demand for wheat, right? And so that is sending wheat prices higher and higher, right? So that's 3 for 1 right there, okay? So that's wheat, okay? Next up on this list would be USO. And, you know, team, oil has been going off, okay? Oil has been going off. We know that. Again, check out the video, 5 stocks that benefit from Russia's war with Ukraine. It's on the YouTube, okay? Let's look on USO today. I think when we made the video, it was at 73 or something like that. Today, USO like $10 since we made that video, right? And so 4 for 1 is not that bad, okay? Team, this is free content. This is free game. You did not have to pay for it, okay? I see some of you guys are benefiting from this. Again. Consider joining the group. Consider joining the chat, okay? We have a Discord chat at Brooklyn Traders. We've been mashing it up. Today, we bought an option for $194. Team, at the end of the day, this option was worth $10.50, okay? Final, I didn't hold that entire time. Full disclosure, right? But paid $194 for it. Final value $10.50, and this was on a single contract. That's a single contract, right? So if you bought 5 of them, okay, you know, paid roughly $700 or so, that $700 could have net you. That $700 could have net you 10 grand a day. It coulda. It coulda. We have receipts. We have receipts. Here at Brooklyn Traders, again, in the chat, right? With the way that we do things, okay? Because we don't want to get anybody to FOMO or, you know, show big numbers, right? So when we make plays, we typically just show one contract, right? And so if you bought 5 or 6 or, you know, you could have easily 10x'd on that single contract today with whatever amount that you're comfortable playing with, right? And so, yeah, just very good moves today. And we've been doing it pretty well. I think out of the last 7 trading days, there was only one trading day where we went kind of flat or slightly negative. That's because like the market was just haywire that day and it kind of shook us up. But other than that, it's been a pretty simple market to trade. Right? So if you guys are having trouble, again, consider joining the team here at Brooklyn Traders. Again, www.brooklyntraders.net. Follow the prompts, will get you up in there. Hey, or if you're just sitting on the sidelines and say, hey, I'm good where I'm at, hey, consider supporting those who support you, right? Donate to the stream. That helps support the show. And any little donation, whether small or great, is greatly appreciated. So that's basically it. I think we had some tickers here that were asked about, and so that was it. I do want to give highlight to a few names here. HUSA. Big monster move on HUSA. Good gracious. HUSA here. And again, this is a chat pump, right? From $2 to $13 in a day, right? Team, this is a chat pump. Why was HUSA able to do this? Well, HUSA had a very tiny float, right? And so, again, all those Wall Street Bets guys, all those chat rooms, all those Twitter, stock Twits people, they all jumped into there. They actually tried to run it first on RIG, R-I-G. They did try to run it first on RIG here. I actually jumped into RIG here, but I got stopped out because we pulled back too hard. Okay, I like the move on RIG here. I expect RIG to keep going. But again, I got stopped out. I'd like to see us back above 515 to reestablish a position. Do have to protect myself, okay? Not everything is a winner. Winner on the day, loser on this particular trade here, got stopped out. But it's all good. It's all good. Green on the day is green on the day, right, team? So that is it. But yeah. Yeah, you know, RIG does have a good looking pattern here. Again, would like to see it back above 515. You also had CEI. CEI, this is that Twitter guy, Jack Morris's favorite, right? So the Jack Morris kids are all jumped into the CEI here. Okay, so congrats to anyone who made money on that. RIG, HUSA, I'm sure there's some other names out there. Let me see, I think there was one more. Let me look in the chat. The chat threw something in there. Indonesia Energy. Okay. Atej, thank you so much. Actually, it's Ono. It's Ono Jetta, right? Ono, thank you for that. Ono shouted out Indo. That is Indonesia Energy Corp. Pretty much anything that had the word energy in it just went off today, right? It just totally went off. And so that's basically it, team, right? So again, team, if you're in any of these plays, understand these are pumps. And look at this. Look at Indo. Whoo! From $11 to $86. Whoo! Pop the molly. I'm sweating. Man. This is great. This is amazing, team. So, anyway, that is pretty much it. Again, team, I want to thank everybody for being here. Thanks for being here on the show. This is uploaded to YouTube, Facebook as well. And you can find the recording on Facebook. Again, consider joining the team if you have not. My name is Charles Becco, and this has been your stock market recap. Again, we need to get some more information to know if we're gonna crash, right? I'm looking at Apple. I'm also looking at Facebook, right? Also Tesla, Apple, Facebook, and Tesla. You want to look at these names. If these names keep going down, if these names keep breaking support levels, the likelihood of a crash is much higher. But we cannot say assuredly for now. But team, things don't look good, and we actually don't see any rays of sunshine out there yet. Again, this is Charles Becco. Thanks, and God bless.
Metro.
God bless you guys. Take care.